Welcome back, everybody, to this Tableau for FIRST Robotics video course presented by FRC Team 2834. Today we're going to be going through data formatting and importing a data source in Tableau so we can start making some really cool charts. Tableau accepts a variety of file types, but it's limited in the public edition. Tableau public must be a .xls, .xlsx, or a .xlsm file, while Tableau Desktop allows other file types such as .csv. However, we're going to be using Excel for this, and we're going to export everything as a .xlsx file. In many other spreadsheet editors, such as Google Sheets and Apple Numbers, you can also export your files to .xlsx file types without even having Excel on your computer. There are three main types of data types that we're going to go through. There are numeric data types, and this could be any range of numbers. For example, if you're collecting in your scouting data, how many power cells did this team score? There's Boolean data, which is true or false, and it's usually stored as a 1 or a 0 in the spreadsheet data. And a question you might ask is, did they hang an endgame? And in your scouting data, you'll put either a true or a false, or a 1 or a 0 to signify if they hung or not in endgame. And then there's alphabetical data, which is any combination of letters or words that is not numeric. And this includes comments on how the robot performed that you might put at the end of your scouting sheets. So let's head over to Excel and we're going to get started. Alright, so here we are in Microsoft Excel, and I've just opened a brand new workbook, and I've titled here in row 1 some headers for things that we're going to be collecting. Most of your scouting data is probably going to be sorted by team number and match number. You're going to be scouting a certain team, and it's going to be during a certain match. And you're going to be scouting a certain team during multiple matches. So you're going to have repeat team numbers, just different match numbers. And this is just some very basic scouting data from the infinite recharge game, such as auto low port, auto outer port, inner port, low port, outer port, inner port, and hang. Columns C through H are all numeric data types, while hang in column I is a Boolean data type. So as you're populating your spreadsheets with your scouting data, this might be what it looks like. For example, Team 2834 in match number 1. They scored 0 power cells in the low port and autonomous. They scored 3 in the outer port during autonomous, and they scored 1 in the inner port during autonomous. And then they went on to score 5 in the low port during teleop, 0 in the outer port during teleop, and 3 in the inner port during teleop, and they did hang. And to signify a true value for hang, we're going to put a 1. Now let's do this again for another team. Let's say Team 123. Shout out to Team Cosmos. In match number 1, they scored 5 in the auto low port. They didn't score anything in the outer port, and they scored 2 in the inner port in auto. And in teleop, they scored 10 in the low port, 5 in the outer port, 0 in the inner port, and they did not hang. So we're going to use a 0 to signify a false value for hang. This is probably the most basic way to format your data for use in Tableau. Your column names should be the data names that you're collecting, such as team number, match number, auto low port scoring, hang scoring. The names of your columns should be those values. And the values of your columns should be the scoring for this specific team in this specific match. So these are the two parameters you're going by, and this is all the data. Essentially, these are your independent variables, and these are all your dependent variables that you're collecting. So this is how you want to format a Tableau data spreadsheet every time. Your scouting data might be manually entered into here. Your team might have a scouting app that puts this data into this format automatically. Regardless of what you have, it should be coming out in a format much like this, where you have team number, match number, and all the different pieces of data that you're trying to collect. All right, let's head over to Tableau and let's import this data source. So we've just opened Tableau Desktop, and like I said, I'm going to be using Tableau Desktop for this course. However, everything that I'm doing is going to be compatible with Tableau Public. So we saved our file as a Microsoft Excel file, so we're going to click right here on Microsoft Excel. And it's right here in Downloads. It's called Book 1, and we're going to hit Open. And as you can see, it's basically copied and pasted our spreadsheet right here in Tableau's own little format. It's every single one of our data pieces, and all of our values are correctly imported into Tableau. Over on the left, you can see the connection to the specific file. It's called Book 1. That's what I named the Excel file. Over here is the specific spreadsheet within the file. This is called Sheet 1, and you'll notice that if I go back into Excel, there are different sheets that I can put into a file. And I only had one sheet, but if I had a Sheet 2, that would also appear right next to this one in Tableau. But all you need to know right now is by clicking those buttons, that's how you import a data source. And now we are ready to create some charts. We'll see you next time.